Hello, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Well, not too bad. The weather is not that bad. And
Yeah, you were
uh,
expecting rain, right?
yeah, well, we had some a few hours ago, but it's very windy, so it's very dry. And there, actually, I'm on the left bank of the river, where some of the Premier Cru are. And there, right now, we are in Vaillon. You can see
Wow.
Vaillon. You can see the village of Chablis way out.
Mm-hmm.
And the Grand Cru, you can see some gray blanket that's in Leclos.
Mm-hmm.
It's a protection against frost. And there I'm not sitting, I'm in the front of our oldest vineyard.
Wow.
It's in Vaillon, and that's where we made the Cuvée Guy Moreau.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a, it's a vineyard that my father planted in 1933. So
Wow.
it's 87 years old. And if you look at the grapes, beautiful. You see,
Excellent.
you know, I think a vineyard is just like me. You improve with age.
Exactly.
And you can see at the end, I have my team here who are taking the frost protection away, the candle,
Oh,
because,
oh, they are good.
yeah, right now, yeah.
So
No.
you survived the frost, and there wasn't any frost.
No, we had 2, 3 nights of frost, but we didn't light up our protection. And even certain people, it was a little colder in certain area,
Okay.
but definitely there is absolutely no damage. And the vineyard, as you can see, are absolutely beautiful.
Excellent.
We had such a hot period the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The day before yesterday, it was nearly 90 Fahrenheit. And
Wow.
we
Really?
are, yes, over 30 Celsius. So
Jeez.
that's incredible. So we are ahead actually. And if the weather if it stay that way, you never know, we will harvest in August. But,
Wow.
as my father used to say, as long as the grape are not in the press, in a crusher, don't cry victory.
Yeah. Exactly. Boy, you have a beautiful office. Imagine coming to work every day. That's just lovely.
Yeah, right now, we have that shit virus, but to be in a country and to work in a vineyard, uh, all employees have their own vehicle to travel,
Uh-huh.
and it's not the same like living in New York or in Paris,
Right.
where that's
Wow.
a big problem. So right now in Chablis, even region. There is some virus, of course, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not as bad as a big city.
Sure. Christian, are you halfway up the hill or the top of the hill?
I'm on the top of that hill, but the vineyard goes a little further up. Eh?
Okay.
Okay, right here.
So, can I just back up a little bit and ask you to introduce yourself for the very few people who don't know who you are?
Well, I'm an old man of 76, born in Chablis. I'm the fifth generation of the Moreau family, and officially I'm retired.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my son Fabien, the sixth generation. He's the winemaker. He's my boss, and actually right now he's in the cellar, racking some
Oh,
barrel, of the 2019 vintage. We have a domain, roughly 12 hectares,
okay.
12 hectares, 6 hectares of Grand Cru, 5
Wow.
hectares,
Wow.
5 hectares of Premier Cru Vaillon. That's the vineyard that you can see. We have about 7 different plots,
Mm-hmm.
and also 1.5 hectares of Chablis and some Petit Chablis. And since my son Fabien came back in 2002, that's when I gave him the key. I gave him the key and I said, make the one that you like. And I always remember, he looked at me, I said, what do you mean? Well, I said, please don't make the wine that the English like, or the American, or the
Very
Russian, or
good.
the Swedish.
Uh-huh.
Believe in what you do, and people will appreciate. And I think he achieved that. So we are certified organic since 2013.
Awesome.
I know it was going that way, and we are certified with a vintage 2013, meaning we don't put any herbicide, pesticide, insecticide. We only use sulfur and copper. And people, of course, a lot of argument, people, organic, you put copper, but they put just as much on a conventional. And now let's put it this way. We have a very modern equipment, especially spraying machine.
Hmm.
And like last year, Fabien, we did 6 treatments and he put 1.2 kilo in 6 treatments, meaning nothing,
Yeah.
really. I put more shit in a vineyard during my time. I can satisfy. And the domain export in 45 countries.
Wow.
In the US, actually, we start the family. My father started to export in 1936, and he started to work with Frederick Wildman in 1938 because he was the beverage manager at the French pavilion during the World Expo in New
Oh,
York.
okay.
Yeah, so he spent 3 years, and he really enjoyed New York. He was young, good-looking guys. He had great life. He had great life.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Um,
really.
can
Yes.
I ask you a question I always wonder in Burgundy? At what point do you put your name on the label of the wine? Like, when will it become Domaine Fabien, or does it wait a
So,
generation?
uh, actually, we start the domain with the vintage 2002. Before that, the family was involved with a big negotiation house called Moreau et Fils.
Hmm.
But we had a joint venture with a Canadian company, Aram Walker, in 1974, and my cousin who decided to have that joint venture. But when they signed that contract, they put something very special that after 10 years, advance of 5 years, they could read. So
Right.
1996, when Boissé bought the Négociant, but he bought the Négociant at the same time with my cousin, we decide to regain control over the vineyard. So, you have to be careful. When you sell a pig, sell the bone and keep the fat. Anyway, so we start exporting. When we start the new venture, of course, we had the US who decide to stay with us, also in Japan with Suntory. And years after years, we decide to develop all around the world because it's better to not to have all your eggs in the same bucket.
For sure. So, will the domain be called Domaine Christian Moreau for a long, long time? Or,
Since 2002.
but into the
Since,
future, in 20 years, will it still be your name on it?
oh yes, of course. I mean, I can pass away and sleep well because everything is transmit, and
Okay.
the Fabien won't have to sell the domain if
Good.
I pass away or my wife pass away. Everything is set up
Okay.
because that's a big problem in transmission in France.
Yeah.
If you don't get anything ready, I mean, there's too much tax, and usually it's a financial company who buy you over.
Right. Yeah. Well, good for you for being organized. Can you speak a little bit about the candles that you mentioned, how that works? Some people see the pictures and it's very pretty, but people don't know the risk and the danger.
Well, actually, Chablis, I mean, it's a big fuss, in Côte d'Or. You see a lot of picture, but they just start to protect themselves about 2 or 3 years ago. In Chablis, the protection 1960 with a small candle. After that, we had some burner with a diesel fuel,
Hmm.
but we did abandon everything because sometimes you really damage the vineyard. So we have candle. It's a paraffin. It's not with fuel. So I'm not gonna say that it's green, but it's better than what we used to.
Yeah.
So we put roughly 600-700 candles per hectare. And when the frost period started, it was the beginning of April. We do have a thermometer in a vineyard, and with those iPhone and phone now, They beep up when the temperature is, let's say, one above. And after that, well, we wake up the team. And when we have to light up everything, usually at -2, -3. But it can go down -4 like it did this year, but it was very dry. So when the ground is dry, the bud can resist a little more. But if you have 80, 90% of humidity, that's when you roast everything.
I see. And when you say candle, they're not a candle you put on the table at dinner. It's a big.
No, they're a little bigger. They're a little bigger.
Okay.
Well,
And
I mean, if you go on like Facebook page, you will see many things about
there
that.
you go. Okay, that's a good answer. Perfect. So can you just there's some people on here who are not necessarily in the wine business but are fascinated by wine. Can you explain why Chablis is special?
Well, Chablis is special. It's unique. It's the capital of Burgundy. Don't tell
Exactly.
that to my friend. No, Chablis is special because of the soil. Soil is made of, it's a chiméridien made of limestone. And what's so special about Chablis compared to other regions, it's the minerality, the certain acidity, not aggressivity, but a certain acidity that you have with our wine. So now, of course, people said, yes, with the global warming, you have to, the style might change. I don't believe much in that for now, as long as you follow the maturation and the evolution of your grapes. Let's say, for instance, right now, we are nearly maybe 2 weeks advanced, maybe in certain years. So when the flower season will take place, probably the end of May, beginning of June. It all depends, the weather forecast. After that, you have to follow the evolution. And usually you harvest between 90 and 100 days after the flowering is over. So let's say about 3-4 weeks before harvest, or I mean the date that you figure out you might harvest, you start taking sample, grapes. For instance, in this parcel, we will take 20 grapes. We pick 20 grapes always at the same time, at the same place, and we will crush them, analyze them, and follow the evolution between alcohol and acidity, pH, and everything. And when we do figure it's time to go, okay, we'll go. Church, we'll get our picker because we harvest everything by hand. We will call our pickers and we will harvest before the acidity drop too low. So it's a question to follow your vineyard. There's many things I can read in the paper by some guys. Oh, these guys start too early. The other ones start too late. That's bullshit. I mean, when you have a vineyard like this, which is
Yep.
87 years old, you will not wait like a 15 or 20 years old vineyard.
I
That's why
see.
you need to follow the evolution and the maturation of each vineyard.
Uh-huh. So you're standing in a Grand Cru vineyard. How is that different
No,
in
I'm standing in a Premier Cru.
Premier Cru?
Premier
Okay.
Cru right now.
So sorry about that. Can you explain Petit Chablis, Premier Cru, and Grand Cru?
Well, I'm going to turn the camera.
Okay.
You see all the vineyard under me and on the side facing south-southeast, it's Premier Cru, Valion.
Okay.
Premier Cru séché. On the other side, all that hill facing us, facing north, it's Chablis, Chablis
Okay.
Village. There's no Premier Cru on the other side.
Okay.
It's 100% Chablis Village. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the Petit Chablis, it's not on this part. It's usually way out. You can see the blanket, the green blanket.
Yep.
That's Les Clos. On the top, you have a forest, and behind, you have some Petit Chablis. And
Okay.
also, most of the Petit Chablis are in a village of Lignorel. That's where you have a lot of acres of Petit Chablis.
Okay.
Because in Chablis itself, you have the Grand Cru, many Premier Cru, but 80% of the Chablis village is made in a surrounding village. You have 20 villages surrounding Chablis, and that's where most of the Chablis is made. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, what was I going to ask you? Oh, so somebody asked the how has winemaking in Chablis changed with climate change?
Well, I don't think there's much change, you know. I mean, like I said, the winemaking, you have to follow, you know, it's a grape, the most important, you know. The quality in a bottle, it's 80% of the grapes. It's the winemaking, okay, it's very important, but you have to bring your grape the way you want it, not overripe, you know. That's why you need to follow the maturation and the evolution on each vintage. And the winemaker comparing to maybe 40 years ago, you know, people are using oak now, maybe. And I always laugh when I said, the new method in Chablis is to use oak. Bullshit. When I was a young kid, you know, the only thing I saw was barrel in a cellar,
Uh huh.
but it was all barrel and
Right.
concrete tank.
Right.
The vinification in stainless steel tank really come in the 70s, where I was in Canada in that time actually. In the 70s, when we had big crops and people didn't know where to, you know, to keep the wine. So that's when the stainless steel tank came in effect in 1970, 72, 73.
And in general, the how is oak treated in Chablis all over the
So,
place?
sorry?
How is oak used in Chablis in general, and then with
Well,
you?
people use to a certain amount, you know, let's say for the Premier Cru and the Grand Cru. Ourselves, Fabien used, let's say for the Grand Cru, roughly 50% barrel and 50% fermentation in tank. But
Okay,
for the barrel, he used less than 5% of new oak.
I
He will
see.
use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years old barrel.
Okay.
And he will do the blending, you know, about 6, 7 months or 8 months after, depending on the vintage. And after that, the blending with the barrel and the tank the following month.
Um. So a little just back to the climate change. You said it was 90 degrees recently. Is
It
that
was
a record?
at this period. I think we are not far from the record.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a record. Yeah, yeah, it was between 30, 32 Celsius. Can you imagine that?
That's
That's crazy.
nuts.
Yeah.
And
That's
so,
crazy, you know.
are you seeing that though? That climate change is maybe making ups and downs more extreme?
Well, the problem now it's the extreme. Right now, I think we're away with the frost problem. But the next problem that we could have in the future, it's hailstorm
Right.
because of the heat, you know, and you get some cold front coming from the north, and that's where you had hail. They had hail in Bordeaux. I heard a
Yeah.
couple week ago. They had some in Burgundy, but with no damage. But that's one of the major problems that we can still have till harvest. Yes.
So from now until harvest, there's always a risk of hail.
There is always a risk, you know, because of the such a heat, you know. But
Yeah.
right now, I think we avoid because it's very dry. You can see the ground; it's dry.
Uh huh.
Actually, we need some water. We do need,
Okay.
but what can you do?
You have
Eh?
to wait for
You
it.
have to wait. Eh?
So where are the vines at right now? I've spoken to people in Alto Adige, which is further south but higher, and everybody's different. Where are you in the vines
I
maturation?
mean, what
The
the
maturation of the vines. Are you at bud break, etc.?
the maturation. I mean, there is no right now. You can see. I'll show you. See right now. You see. You can see this
Yep.
grape. Okay.
A little bit lower.
Okay, okay, that's
There
better.
we go. Yes, beautiful.
Yeah, okay,
Okay,
okay.
gotcha.
So this grape, well, just starting to grow. The flowering is not done, and it won't be done before I don't think before the end of May.
Okay.
Really. And after the flowering, okay, we will see the grapes to grow and form itself. But right now, they still I think we still have 1 month. But if the flowering starts the end of May, that means we're gonna have a very early harvest. No
I
problem.
see.
Yeah.
Right. And what is the work being done in the vines in the vineyard? Is it
Well,
trellising or pruning
no,
or?
no. They take they're going to take. like this. See, they're gonna take the extra, like this one.
Okay.
See,
Uh-huh.
look, that's what they are doing right now.
Okay.
Look, another one. But the way the vine growing, they're gonna start next Monday to see those wires to put everything here and try to tight all this
Yeah.
because we need to go through with the tractor to spray and
Mm-hmm.
to plow also. So they are very busy right now, very, very busy.
Yeah. So how has the coronavirus affected the quarantine? People are spread out in the vineyard, and you said they drive to work alone, so it's okay?
Yeah, I mean, in the country, we don't have much problem, long as they are careful when they go shopping, do something. But you can see all the car around there. You see over
Yeah.
there, there's a team of. Usually, they will have one vehicle, but
I
there,
see.
they took one each.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, really.
And
No,
so does Christian have to wear a mask while he's racking, or is he alone? I mean,
no,
Fabian.
he's alone. He's alone. He's alone. He's alone. We're gonna have
Okay.
a mask. We had our prime minister on TV yesterday, so they will release us, on May 11,
Right.
and it all depends which region. They're going to put a color on each region in France, red and green.
Okay.
And actually, our region, not Côte d'Or is red, but Lyon will be green. So that means we should be able to travel to 100 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
Okay, even right now, people who work can travel nearly everywhere in the
Uh-huh.
country, but starting May 12, if you want to travel, like myself, I want to go and play a game of golf at 50 kilometers, I should be able to go. Right?
Excellent. That's good to know.
No, and it's difficult, because there are a lot of problem in Paris on the east part of France. So people have to be careful. It's not easy. I mean, it's easy for me to talk about that because we live in a country, have a
Exactly.
garden, big house, but just figure four people in 30 square meters,
Yeah.
and that's very tough. That's very
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the next steps because some cities are open or some states are open restaurants, and it's all a mess to see
Mm-hmm.
what works.
Uh-huh.
Um, I guess I'll let you go. I don't want to take too much of your time, but it's been a
No,
pleasure to see you.
no. Before we cut off, just a moment.
By all means.
Uh, See, I brought a glass.
Oh,
I'm gonna have a drink here.
excellent,
Just a moment.
excellent.
La, 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 la. Tuck. Just a minute. Yeah, you can see the glass. You can see the glass.
Yep. Oh, I'm very jealous right now.
Jerka. And I'm having that 1918 Vaillant, Cuvée
Cheers. I'm having
Moreau,
tea.
Cuvée Moreau, and believe me, people said I drink wine too young. Well, first, I like them young. This can age, of course, but I'm not waiting 20 years anymore.
Good for you. Oh, what a beautiful picture seeing you
Purée,
drink
c'est bon.
Chablis
C'est
in
très,
the
très bon.
vineyards.
Well,
That's just exceptional. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see you.
okay, and hope to see you soon in New York. Okay?
You stay strong and healthy
Hope
for
so.
us, sir. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, take care.